Hello everyone, I'm Josh Garrett, and in this video we're going to be talking about Mimesis and Mimetic Theory by Rene Girard. I discovered this topic when I was talking to my father about my interests in psychology and philosophy, and he recommended me to learn more about Rene Girard's Mimetic Theory. I found it to be very interesting, and it was a perfect blend between psychology and philosophy. Which is why today I'm going to be sharing with you what I learned about mimesis. The primary idea of mimesis or mimetic desires is the idea that our desires are not really our own. They are tainted by mimesis. They are not authentic. Just take a look at our own lives. We are told to attend a prestigious school no matter the cost. We're told to attend a prestigious university no matter how dull, and to get a prestigious job no matter how trivial. These desires doesn't seem to be really what we really want. And the puppeteer pulling the strings behind all these desires, according to Girard, is mimesis and prestige. Which is what led Girard to learn more about mimesis, metaphysical desire, and mimetic desire to compile his theory of mimetic theory. So let us first start by learning more about mimesis. Mimesis can be easily and perfectly defined as a human capacity or tendency to imitate others. Now, this imitation is in a broad sense. It dyes our values, it pushes and pulls our judgments, our thinking, and it affects our actions. To understand mimesis easier, Girard used the idea of sympathy from David Hume. In a treatise of human nature, Hume employs a very famous metaphor of two violin strings, wherein you pluck one string and a similar set of frequency is translated to the other because they're so wound up. That is the idea behind sympathy, which Hume described as co-experiencing another person's feelings. Just that mimesis is in a larger scale. Instead of just co-experiencing or co-vibrating feelings, it's co-experiencing values, judgments, actions, and thinking. Now, this metaphor works really well in describing mimesis for three reasons. Firstly, it paints humans as naturally social creatures. Just like how there needs to be two violin strings for there to be a co-vibration or co-experiencing of feelings, in the same way humans need others to co-experience values and emotions. Secondly, it paints mimesis as a tendency. It's automatic. Just like how plucking one violin string will cause the other to vibrate as well, we too have this tendency to imitate. It is something unconscious and built into us. Thirdly, it gives us agency. Just like how you can stop a violin string from vibrating by plucking it differently, or perhaps stopping it from vibrating altogether, we too have the agency in our lives to stop mimesis from affecting it. Now, this all might seem good to you, but you might be asking, where is the evidence for mimesis? Girard provides a lot of proof. However, it's more of an interpretive evidence rather than practical evidence, where it's like he just says, just follow my train of thought to see where it leads and see the possibilities bloom. But that does not mean he does not provide practical evidence. In fact, mimesis is so innate, it can be even observed in babies. An American psychologist, Andrew N. Meltzer, observed that babies as young as 14 minutes old started imitating the experimenter's facial expressions. Now notice that this is the first time these babies would have ever seen somebody make a silly face, yet they were automatically inclined to imitate it. That is the practical evidence to mimesis. Thirdly, the most important question: what is the significance of mimesis, especially in our lives? Does mimesis provide any value or not? To answer this, let me pose a question. How do you know how long a certain table is, or how tall a certain chair is, or even the color of my shirt? Of course, you can verify it using your senses, or using a measuring tape obviously. This is called descriptive certainty. You can be certain of it using your senses. However, how do you identify what is the beautiful, what is the good? How do you live life? This is when mimesis enters the room. Mimesis provides us normative certainty. Now, mimesis affects us in three ways. So let us look at all three of them. Firstly, it provides us with recognition. Now, the lack of mimesis when you're in a certain group is what gives you the feeling of alienation or feeling lonely. Now just imagine being in a room full of musicians who are heatedly discussing their passions, yet you know nothing about music. That would make you feel alienated, wouldn't it? And certainly a bit lonely, even though the room is full of people. That is the power mimesis holds, recognition. Secondly, let us dial mimesis up a notch, from small groups to big societies, cities, and even states. Mimesis provides prestige. The values and opinions of a large group are tinted through prestige. When you say something is prestigious, you're really just saying that it does not deserve the value it holds, that there's some surplus value added to it. Now, Girard would say that the surplus value added to it is prestige. For a very simple example, simply take fiat currency, the paper money you use every day. If somebody were to hold up $100 bill in front of you and ask if it holds any value, you'd obviously say yes, it holds the value of $100. However, intrinsically, it's simply paper that has something printed on. But because the whole world collectively agrees that it has some value, and the value of $100, you also agree to it, which is the power mimesis holds in large groups. Now finally, let's dial up mimesis fully. Let us imagine an object with infinite normative certainty. In that case, we would call that object sacred. Even the building blocks of gods are influenced by mimesis. Simply take something that's important to a believer, perhaps a shrine. To a believer, it holds infinite value, it's the holiest of things. However, to an unbeliever, it would probably look and hold the value of simply a pile of carved rocks. That is the power mimesis holds, making an object sacred. Now, having learned all this, we can ask, what is the use of mimesis in our lives? According to Girard, mimesis is actually a necessary force that is needed in our lives. After all, we can't have ourselves thinking about everything. Even those that believed in reason so much agreed on certain beliefs on their time. Take a look at 2000 years of Christians affirming similar values, or 2500 years of Buddhist monks agreeing on some rough cosmology. Mimesis is a necessary authority in our lives. However, that doesn't mean we can let it influence all aspects of our life. Now, I hope you found this video useful, and if you really like this video, please like and subscribe. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.